You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back. Rodgers for Black and White Sports 2. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. That's right. There might be a little movement coming finally on Aaron Rodgers. We're finding out. I was listening to WFAN this morning. Boomer Esiason has been the little tidbit dropper involving this Aaron Rodgers situation for quite some time. Really and truly, it was him and Trey Wingo that was leading the charge of Aaron Rodgers is going to be a New York Jet. They've been saying it for quite some time. Seemed like no other NFL insiders wanted to acknowledge that. It's something you can tell Boomer Esiason's not real happy about, I don't think. He doesn't like being a source, but Boomer, you're sort of a source. I mean, you know. So anyway, you can tell. You know, he's got some. He picks up on some musings that are emanating from the NFL news sphere when it comes to things involving the Jets, things around the NFL in general. And he has come out and he's made some more comments, and he is saying this Aaron Rodgers situation is very, very close to getting done, and it's got to do with something we've talked about on this channel. Look, the Jets, they want some protection here, okay? And what kind of protection do they want? Well, they want some conditional protection when it comes to a second draft pick that they may or may not give up in this situation. But it does look like it's getting close. At some point, you got to think Woody Johnson might just step in and say, look, enough is enough. Let's get this done. I'm sure the NFL schedule makers right now are like, hey, can we get this done? We're starting to thinking about making primetime schedules, and one of the games out there that a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people believe may end up happening, is the Dallas Cowboys and New York Jets on Thanksgiving Day. There is no telling how big that rating would be for that game, but it would be a monster. Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Jets, Cowboys, wow, could be big. So this is an Odyssey, and this is by way of the Boomer and Geo show. So I want to make sure I give these guys credit because I do watch their show every morning. Aaron Rodgers trade, very close, but the Jets want pick protection. Aaron Rodgers still isn't a Jet, but Boomer Esiason, who has consistently said that the future Hall of Famer will wind up in New York, says a deal is not far off. Quote, I'm going to tell you, it's very close, Boomer said. And I was listening to this. He was like, it's very close. I got the notion that it's today, tomorrow, Friday. I mean, we're a day, 2, 3, 4 days away from this thing actually getting done. A recent report by Yahoo Sports' Charles Robinson said that the holdup in the deal is Gang Green's hesitancy to deal away draft picks without any kind of protection, a sense of security the Jets reportedly desire since Rodgers appeared on the Pat McAfee show and revealed just how close he was to retiring before coming out of the darkness retreat and announcing his desire to play for the Jets. The report concerned Gio a bit too, but Boomer reassured his co-host that the report is essentially what he has been saying all along. Quote, they don't want to go crazy with compensation package because they don't know whether he's going to play next year or not. Boomer said that protection pick, works both ways. It works for Green Bay if the Jets have a really successful run and Rodgers plays in the majority of games and wins probably. I would tie it to wins. I would. And then he comes back. Then the pick for the Packers would be higher. If the Jets play and let's say he gets hurt or they don't make it far enough and he's not coming back for a second year, then they don't want to give something up for that. Good God, I can't talk this morning. Still, Boomer believes the Packers will eventually relent in some way to get a deal done, whether it's offering a fourth-round pick as compensation, if Rodgers pivots and retires, or doesn't play a certain amount of games with the Jets. There's clearly an obstacle remaining, but Boomer doesn't think it will stop the two sides from eventually getting a deal done. And, of course, like I said, that's WFAN. And their show is simulcast on CBS Sports Network. That's how I watch it every day. They're a damn good listen. I mean, it's kind of like listening to a podcast, but, sports radio, there is no Mike and Mike anymore. So, what do you do in the mornings? Sorry, Mike Greenberg, but I don't want to watch Get Up because of some of these ESPN assholes that are on there that make me want to blow my brains out. Yeah. ESPN is just not what I'm consuming these days, but that's neither here nor there. And if you're subscribed to the big channel, you probably already know that. I mean, you know how we feel about ESPN, woke ESPN these days. And that is the deal. That's been the deal for a while. Something we've talked about is, look, if they think they're getting Rodgers for a second season, that may end up being a second-round pick next year too, right? And now the Jets, I believe, have 2 picks this year. Well, that's a slam dunk. You give that second pick for Aaron Rodgers, but you tie that pick next year. Hey, if he doesn't come back next year, it's a 4th. If he does come back, then it's a 3rd. If he comes back and this past season, we make the AFC Championship game, and he plays in 17 games, and he throws for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, we'll make next year's pick. If all these things hit, we'll make it a second-round pick, and then they get 2 2s, which I think is plenty fair, provided Rodgers plays. Let's say that'd be a 35, 34, 35 games. So let's say he plays 33 out of 35 games or whatever, make the playoffs both years. And that could, I'd be willing to get, if they made the Super Bowl, I'd be willing to let that protected pick, provided he wants to come back again, become a 1. But that would be the backside compensation on that. It wouldn't be the front side. You'd get that second-round pick, and that would be it. But I found this very interesting. I was going to make a video on it anyway, and then I ran across the very article from said show that I listened to this morning. And you could tell, I mean, they think this Aaron Rodgers thing is just about signed, sealed, delivered. And they sure are mentioning, well, there's been a lot of mention about Odell Beckham Jr. And you got to wonder, is that thing going to happen? John Mara said something about the Giants and OBJ too, but he said he would leave that up to the football people. But you could tell John Mara still really likes OBJ. Say what you want to about the Giants leadership. That seems like a good owner up there. As far as that guy actually cares about his players as best he can. Some could say maybe to the detriment of the team. They might have hung on to Eli 1 or 2 years, missed out on the resurgence of Geno Smith. Who knows? Wouldn't that have been something? Geno could have been a Pro Bowl quarterback for the Giants for the last 5 years. What the hell? That's neither here nor there, and it's too late to be thinking about that now, I guess. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.